In the tranquil hills of an Igbo village, life thrived under the embrace of tradition. The rising sun bathed the red earth and thatched roofs in warm light, signaling the start of another market day. Villagers emerged from their huts, the air filled with the aroma of cooking fires and the promise of new beginnings. Ada, the only daughter of the revered Chief Okeke, stood before her mirror, adjusting the intricately woven beads in her hair. Her beauty was renowned, but behind her composed demeanor, Ada longed for something deeper than the rigid duties she'd grown accustomed to. Outside their large compound, Chief Okeke stood proudly with Ada and her mother flanking him. Their regal attire and bearing set them apart from the simpler villagers passing by. The family's power and influence were palpable, a constant reminder of the expectations placed upon Ada. Across the village, Chima was preparing for the market day. His small hut stood near the edge of the village, far from the wealth that surrounded Ada's home. As he arranged yams into baskets, his younger sister, Nika, helped him, their silhouettes framed by the rising sun. Chima's thoughts drifted to his past, to the day his family's fortunes changed. He remembered watching his father being confronted by angry villagers, accused of betraying Chief Okeke. The incident had left a deep scar on Chima's family, reducing them from a respected lineage to one shrouded in dishonor. At the bustling market, the atmosphere was alive with the sounds of haggling, drumming, and laughter. Villagers from neighboring towns gathered to sell and trade their goods. Ada arrived with her friends, her presence commanding attention as they walked through the crowded stalls. As Ada wandered through the market, her eyes landed on Chima's stall. There he was, his hands moving deftly as he arranged his goods. Curiosity piqued. Ada made her way toward him. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the busy market around them seemed to fade away. In the days that followed, Ada and Chima found themselves stealing glances at each other across the market. Though they rarely spoke, a connection was forming between them, unnoticed by the villagers around them, but intensely felt by both. At night, Ada lay in her bed, moonlight streaming through the window. Her mind raced with thoughts of Chima, of the easy way he had smiled at her, so different from the formal interactions she was used to. But reality weighed heavily on her. She knew her family would never approve. Chima, too, spent his nights in reflection. Sitting outside his humble hut, gazing at the stars, he thought of Ada. He knew the gulf between their social standings, the history that separated their families. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that their meeting was more than chance. One evening, as the family gathered for dinner, Chief Okeke confronted Ada. "I hear you've been spending time with Chima," he said, his voice laced with warning. Ada's heart raced as she tried to defend herself, but her father's anger knew no bounds. "You will not disgrace this family by associating with his son," he boomed. Later that night, Ada's mother found her daughter in tears. In a quiet corner of their compound, she held Ada close, offering comfort. Though bound by tradition herself, she understood the pain in her daughter's heart, torn between duty and desire. The next day, Obi arrived at Chief Okeke's compound. The son of the wealthiest man in the village, he was Ada's intended husband. His Western attire and confident stance contrasted sharply with the traditional setting. Ada watched his arrival from a window, her face a mask of resignation. Unable to bear the weight of her arranged marriage, Ada snuck out that night to meet Chima by the river. In the soft moonlight, their fears and hopes spilled out. Chima reached for Ada's hand, their touch saying more than words ever could. In hushed tones, hidden in the shadow of a large tree, Ada and Chima began to plan. They knew the consequences of their actions would be severe, but the thought of a life apart was more than either could bear. With the village visible in the distance, they made their choice. The day before Ada's wedding arrived, and the village buzzed with excitement. Women sang and danced, preparing for the grand event. But amidst the joyous preparation, Ada's absence was becoming noticeable. Her room stood eerily empty, untouched by the celebration around it. As dawn broke, Ada and Chima rode away on horseback, the misty fields stretching before them. The village shrank behind them as they galloped towards an uncertain future. Ada's veil and Chima's cloak fluttered in the wind, symbols of the traditions they were leaving behind. Back in the village, Chief Okeke's fury knew no bounds. He stood atop a hill, the rising sun casting his angry silhouette against the sky. Below him, his men fanned out to begin the search, but deep down, he knew Ada and Chima were already beyond his reach. Days later, Ada and Chima crossed into new lands. As they forded a river, the change in landscape mirrored the transformation in their lives. Exhausted but hopeful, they looked to the horizon, ready to build a new life together. Years passed, and Ada and Chima's story became a legend in their old village. In their new home, they stood in the doorway of their humble but happy house, older now but content. The golden light of the setting sun bathed them in warmth, a testament to the love that had defied tradition and reunited two fractured families.